What's up, people? What's up, people? Thank y'all for joining us. It's your boy, Hade, Lolmixradio, the number one station in the nation. Y'all already know what time it is. I'm here today with DP of DP Assets, real estate moguls in the New York City tri-state area, and a very educated brother. I'm also here with the wonderful lady Fame of Lolmixradio. Y'all already know what time it is. So, we got a very important topic today. There's a lot of things going on in the world, but we're going to address one right now. We are talking about social injustices, legal system, and how they are affecting our people. First of all, let me introduce my people right quick one more time. DP, what's up, baby? How you?
How's it going, brother? How's Hade? Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it. The people going to love you. Lady Fame, what's up, girl?
What's up, baby? How you doing? Here we are, Excellent. back again.
Yes. We're making it happen. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, my boy DP brought this issue to me. You know, we all dealing with it. We all trying to address it. So I'd like to let you kick it off, D. Go ahead. Basically give them 30 seconds on what's on your mind right now.
Yeah. Just based on what's going on in the country nationwide, the most recent events that's taking place with predominantly Black males going against, the legal system.
Mm-hmm. And speak up a little bit so they can hear you good.
Okay. And to me, it's just that it's to a point where something has to change. Mm-hmm. As far as how the legal system is handling, Black males, so to speak. I think it's a point where things have to change on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it starts with us on understanding what we're up against and how to combat that. So we as a people, especially Black males, I believe we have to now make it necessary that we gear ourselves and protect ourselves against what we're facing, yes. Which is, I believe, is inequality with the justice system.
Yes.
Yeah. Damn, you want to chime in on that?
I definitely want to chime in, especially what's going on right now. I know all of you are aware of seeing the video, but a lot of you haven't seen content of this man prior to that video and know that man had a lot of people. He was a good man. He grew up in a predominantly urban area like we all did. And right now we're speaking in our best language and our best terms, but he wasn't maybe as fluent in language as some of us are, but I'm gonna put it up on my Instagram, _ just Tammy, just so you guys could see. The man was a good man, and he was out here, and he was very upset about the state of the world that he felt young Black men were giving off to police and to other people and to themselves at that. He made a post about it, and he was very horrified, and he was like upset about the whole thing. And the thing to me is, right now, the state of our world with the person that we have in charge, we're being judged more by our color than our content. And it's so sad because it's from something that's like, okay now, and we're not just talking about the justice system. Let's look at the retired police officer that killed the young man that was walking around looking at the homes inside of Georgia, It becomes something that these people feel like it's okay to do because of the state of the world.
Yeah. Now let's look at the broader aspect of this. I was really thinking about this one, D, when you brought this to me yesterday, and that is the fact that some of what we see in these incidents is a bit of race baiting. For what reason, I'm not sure, but this is my gut feeling, and this is why I say this. Statistically, and I'm not condoning anything negative against any human being. Statistically, though, throughout the U.S., more white people are killed, almost double, by police than Black people per year. But that's not highlighted. What is highlighted is each incident against a Black person by a police officer or by a white person is highlighted. Now, wrong as that may be for anyone to kill anyone, they don't show the fact that the same thing is happening to other races also.
Right.
You know
what I'm
saying?
Why is that? You have to ask yourself, why is that?
Again,
why is that?
Back to the state of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
They're taking advantage of our ignorance of the system.
Yes.
In my opinion, they are taking advantage of the ignorance of the individuals in these urban areas, because they know most do not, have the funds to get themselves a quality lawyer, or most are not educated in the legal system. So they take advantage of that. And I believe the legal system, the judicial system, they know this, but for some reason, they're allowing these police officers to use this excessive behavior towards the minorities in these areas. Now, I think there's a message behind it overall, because this isn't the first time this has happened. With the brutality and the killings of Black males and minorities. This isn't the first time, and it will not be the last time. So what we have to do, I believe, as a people, is make it a priority to you're either going to get in the system to play a part in trying to change it, play a part. Now, if that's not your career goal to become a lawyer, a judge, or get involved in the legal system, then you better gear yourself up. The same way that you save money to, purchase the Yeezys and the Jordans and everything, you better save up to get yourself a quality lawyer, some strong legal representation that can back you in case you happen to come into these situations.
I think in all aspects of life. You know that in real estate. I know that in business. Hassan know that in the back end of business.
Yeah.
See, I think that's the key thing. What you said, as minorities, we feel like because we grow up in these minority.
Hold on. You heard what you just said?
What?
That's another reason why they kicking our ass.
Why?
Stop calling yourselves minorities.
Why you say that?
You ain't that minor. If you keep telling people you minor, they're gonna see you as minor.
That is the key.
Majority.
That is true. I never thought of it like that. I didn't think
that's true.
At that point.
That's a mental play.
Something I wanted to touch on.
Keep calling yourself a minority. That's how you're gonna view.
We gotta stop calling ourselves minority. Here's something we have to address as a culture, because we don't want to just address the problems, but we gotta help bring about the solution too.
Yes.
So, one would be stop calling ourselves niggas. We gotta stop calling ourselves niggas. Okay?
Let me do it again.
Right?
I agree.
If they see you calling your man, your homeboy, a nigga, why should I respect you? You calling your own homeboy a nigga.
Now, you would have to argue that with those in our communities and in our culture, so to speak, who say that we flip the narrative on the word.
There's no flip of the narrative to me. There's no flip of the narrative.
I agree. Say, instead of using it as a derogatory term, we flipped it as a word of endearment to embrace each other.
Nah,
I don't agree with it either.
I don't agree with it either.
If you want to be treated like every other class, like you have class,
right?
No other race is calling themselves a nigga. Jews aren't calling themselves kikes. White people don't necessarily call themselves honkies, crackers, white trash, trailer trash.
Right.
Blacks is the only ones you listen to. And here's another thing. D, as a musician, me as a musician, Tammy, you into music. Our music really brings out hip hop. I'm gonna say really brings down our culture.
Yes.
I hate to say that.
I can't agree with you more. Even
this
better
young
than what you
music,
just said,
this young music, because it kills me, and it all ties in. How you can be so upset at somebody calling you a nigga or a bitch that's not in your culture, but you do that all day long. Like that's what your kids listen to all day. Like
that's what your kids listen to.
Yeah.
You in the house like this with them.
Yeah.
Now here's the tricky part, though.
You in it.
Here's the tricky part. Here's the tricky part. The tricky part is that the people that control the perception of our race, the people who make it seem like a certain record is more popular than another, or and give that emphasis to it, and throw all the money behind it and make it seem like if you're not doing or following this disgusting record and calling yourself a nigga, you're not a hot artist. You're not this, you're not that.
Right.
They are consciously giving the most vile records and the most vile artists the attention and the money, which perpetuates and continues to make.
I can't agree on that.
You see, you don't agree?
I believe we do that. I believe we do that. Me being in business, I see how much your money, your buying power has so much effect on what goes on. We support that. We support the ratchet. They'll go watch Love and Hip Hop before they'll go watch something on OWN. They're not gonna go. Yeah, they're not gonna watch a Lifetime movie before they watch something on So we support the ratchet. We feed into the ratchet.
Now here's another thing to ride on your point. Like you said, we co-sign. We co-sign that behavior and that mentality.
And that's where we spend our money at. So as a business person, guess what I'm going to spend my money advertising? Because I've spent money. I've invested money into this artist. I need my money back. So I cannot blame them as an industry because they're trying to recoup what they've invested inside of their business.
Right.
We decided that's where we're going to spend our money. I love Kendrick Lamar. I love a lot of conscious artists that you don't really hear too much from, but their stuff is super fire.
It is fire.
Super fire. And you'll hear them last before you'll hear some T'Chaka. What's the boy name with the colors all over his hair? I can't even say his name. I hate him so
Tekashi
much.
6ix9ine.
I hate him so much. I don't like him. I don't like him.
6ix9ine.
But here's the thing: the people who control what we call our culture, the hip hop culture, you know, they're the ones who's throwing loads of money behind these artists because they want us to have that image to the world. They want that stereotype broadcast out to the world. You know what I'm saying?
But do you notice none of their children are like that?
They have casualties of war.
They do.
They do have casualties of war with their agenda, but for the overall good or for the overall result of what they're after, they'll take that. They'll take the few casualties of war to make sure the majority of our people are affected in a negative way.
Yep.
We got to step our class up as a people in order to be more respected as a people.
And you know where that starts at? Hade? At home.
Yep.
It starts at home.
See, stop snatching stuff out my brain. You over here? You ain't over here.
True, because that's the very, very, very first step. It starts at home. It starts at home when you instilling, a mindset into your children.
Yes.
Have them respect themselves. Yes. You know, back to the music. Have them not listening to this ratchet music that doesn't do any good for you. Yeah. You know, this hip hop that you can listen to that doesn't, emphasize you on disrespecting yourselves or being ignorant. The ignorant hip hop is what's popping out here right now. Because those who control the music are pushing money behind ignorant hip hop because they want us to follow that.
And to me, if you're gonna let them listen to the ignorant hip hop, did you introduce them to Bach? Did you introduce them to Mozart? Did you let them listen to some Bob Marley? If you want them to be cultured, you have to culture them.
You have to culture them.
Literally, we talk about everything. I'll take him back in movies. I'll take him back in music because I'm the only one that's going to give him what he needs to be out here acting the way I want him to act. You know what I mean? And it also goes into all of the, like, I want to go back on what Hassan was saying. This blackwashing, I call it blackwashing. I might get beat up on the internet for this, but I call it blackwashing because we highlight us as African Americans a lot more of what's going on in our community and not what's going on in the world as a whole. And then we do not spend as much time taking care of our community. I have people in Jamaica right now that need help. There's people all over the world that are our skin color that need help and need more, that need resources that we'll rather go help somebody else before we help us. And that doesn't happen in a lot of other communities. It does not happen in a lot of other communities. Right. They come back and they help us. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We'll be quick.
That's true.
I see a lot of our celebrities. They'll be quick to throw up there. They help this person pay college and this and that and that and that. Big deal. Why are you even talking about it?
Right. Right.
Now,
right.
It should be your rite of passage.
Mm-hmm.
It should be your rite of passage.
Now,
like,
before we lose,
is Lil Wayne, because he don't talk about it a lot at all, but he does a lot for his community where he came from. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
So
not
LL Cool J. He comes here every summer.
Wow.
Nobody doesn't know.
Now,
he locks the whole block down. You know.
Before we lose our train of thought, in addressing police brutality and inequalities in the justice system as a whole, I feel like these incidents are geared towards not just the incidents, but the media sensationalizing the incidents is geared towards some kind of a civil war or some kind of trigger event, maybe to provide an excuse to be even more brutal or to bring about something that gives an excuse to bring about more destruction of the Black community. What are your thoughts on combating, not necessarily in a violent way, but intellectually, what we see happening? Or do we just address it as a human issue and stop putting a race to it, that it's just a person versus a person instead of a Black versus a white or a Black versus a cop? What are your thoughts? Who's going first?
Well, what you said is correct. I believe it is a civil war. You know, it's not stated as that, but it to me is evident. One of the first things we have to do as Black males and you know, young and old, we have to first understand that we are at war, and you know, we're not going to combat it violently or with physical violence or anything, but we have to change the game. We can't continue to think the way that we think. We have to change it up. We're so distracted with topics and things that don't necessarily help us as individuals and as a whole. And you know, such as television and like you said, Hade, the music that we're listening to and social media, we fashion, they have us distracted away from what matters most for us as a people. So we're easy targets for them. So we as a people, I believe we have to change our mindset. You know, we have to now embrace what is important to us as a people. You know,
if we know what that is.
As we know what it is. But I think the root, to me, the root is the household. And they know that. That's why they target the Black males. Because once you take the Black males out of the family, you know, that's like taking a foundation away from the house. What's going to happen to the house? It's going to collapse eventually. So once you remove that foundation, everything else is going to crumble. You know, next thing you know, the child goes to the streets. Mom is overwhelmed because she's working. She has to rely on the system. There's no stability, and the cycle just repeats itself over and over. So that's why I say the root of the problem has to begin with us as a people, maintaining our households. Mom and dad has to be there for that child to instill a better mindset. And now mom and dad has to be okay with upgrading their mindset for their child. You can't continue to run around in these streets, running around wild and concentrate on issues that just don't matter. So you have to want to educate yourself so you can pass that education down to your children.
That's absolutely correct. You know, the village raising thing, it just went out the window. There's no more village. There's no more
there is no more village.
It hurts us all as a community. But because we do not concentrate on the fact that some of our problems are similar, there are a lot of broken homes in those communities, in white communities. And
that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not learning each other at all. We're not taking the time to say, okay, that doesn't work for us as a whole, as humans. We don't practice kindness at all. We talk about it, but we do not practice it. You know what I mean? There's so many things that we don't do as humans that's just so easy.
We're so distracted.
Yes, we're so worried about the nails and the hair.
We're so exactly.
And the clothes and
we don't even own none of it.
We don't own any of that.
We don't own nothing. We don't even own the weaves. They just bought, but she just borrowed the weave. Come on.
We don't own any of that. You know what I mean? There's no unity. There's lack of trust. You know, we have to figure out how to bring something to the table that the world can utilize, that's valuable to the world. Outside of entertainment, you know what I'm saying? Outside of music and you know, football and basketball. We need to bring something that's from us, that's a valuable commodity or resource to the world.
We don't want to teach our kids. That's another thing. My son right now, like our little NutriBurst vitamin thing, I had him invest in this with his first paycheck.
Wow, that's terrific.
I teach him about credit. Me and him talk about credit. We talk about all of these things because guess what? There's a little things that I think my parents weren't abreast of that we were growing up that we needed to know. I grew up, I grew up in the car business, and I watched the difference on how those things were transferred down to make generational wealth. You understand what I'm saying?
Now, in closing, because our time is almost up, people, we want to thank y'all for joining us. Lolmixradio, DP Assets, baby, Lady Fame, dropping it like it's hot on a very important topic. I would like for you guys, please, if you can, off the top, make it all organic. One solution that you would like to see applied to our current situation. You got 20 seconds each. Who's going to drop it first?
Okay, my solution all across the board is training, education for the police officers, training for us as parents to train our children how to act and react in certain, react and to counter react in certain situations. Certain situations is just totally out of your hands, obviously. But to react negatively in a situation that you could possibly make into a positive situation, we need to know how to teach them to identify the difference of both of them. You know, us learning each other as human beings, different cultures, different places, different things, understanding that
learning
our
each other
aren't that different and we're not that far apart. If we came together more, then it would be more effective. You know?
Love it.
Right.
Lee, go ahead.
And I'm going to ride on that. The seed is education. Starts with education. Start focusing on matters that focuses more on your life and your well-being. Stop focusing on things that doesn't, do you any good. Learn your rights as a citizen. That's something that we have to definitely embrace again. Study your rights. Learn your rights as a citizen of this country. And again, I'm going to say, get yourself, stronger legally. If you don't want to, play a part in the change in the legal system, save up your money. Make sure you have an account to get yourself quality legal representation, so you can at least shield yourself from instances of, of what's taking place today.
True indeed. So in closing, people, please behave yourselves, respect each other, love each other, learn each other's differences, teach your children to de-escalate things, support our artists, but maybe,
it's entertainment.
Don't become
don't mistake it. Other than that, it's entertainment.
And at the end of the day, the most important thing that I always say is love, 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 and more love.
Right.
And we out of here, baby.
Peace.
We see y'all on the next one. DP Assets, Lady Fame, Lolmixradio. It's your boy Hade. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
Peace.